Hello and welcome to Engage Chesterfield. I'm Amy Bartilotti with the Office of Family and Community Engagement. September is Attendance Awareness Month and we're here to talk about it today with Amanda Simons, who is one of our school social workers who's in charge of attendance and supporting our families. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you so much for having me this afternoon, Amy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks. I have a question for you. So we know attendance is important, but why is it so crucial to student success?
It's really crucial to student success because it lays the foundation for their future academic success as well as their social and emotional development. And so we really like to start the school year off on a fresh note and get our kids in school from pre-K all the way through grades 12. Studies have shown us that students who are absent at least 2 to 4 days just in the month of September go on to miss at least a month of school during that school year, and that's a tremendous amount and can put a child behind. Studies have also shown us that 1 in 10 students in first grade and kindergarten who are chronically absent, which is defined as missing 18 or more school days a year, are behind in their reading and math skills by the time they enter the 3rd grade. We also know that by the time a student is in 6th grade, their attendance patterns can be one of the good predictors for future high school success. And in the 9th grade, it can also be a good indicator as to on-time graduation rates. So we really like to start with the pattern early and catch them when they're young and develop great habits for the student and the family.
Wow, that really makes me understand how important it is and the impact it has. As a parent, are there some things that I can do to help maybe get off to the right start with my student, maybe make attendance issues something that we don't have to worry about?
Absolutely. So there are some common things that families can do regardless if their child is in elementary, middle, or high school. One of the things that I really like to talk with my parents about is remembering to praise their child, because there are many children who, for whatever reason, don't necessarily like to get up in the mornings. Mornings are a little bit rough for them. It's a little bit too early, or just a little bit anxious sometimes about what's coming up in the school day. And so if you remember to praise your child, you did a great job this morning, or I know that mornings are hard for you, but you've done a great job this week, let's go do something, together, then it really starts to set it. And I've always found that regardless of age, kids love to be praised by their parents. So that's definitely something very basic. The other thing too is we like to encourage our families to remember to plan their vacations around the designated school calendar, because any time out of the classroom is instruction missed, and we don't want our children to feel as though they're behind the 8 ball. Also, if they can try to remember to schedule dentist and doctor's appointments after school instead of during the school day. But at the elementary level, we also talk to our families about setting good nighttime routines, getting your backpack ready for school the next day, making sure that any permission slips are filled out, packing a lunch if the child takes a lunch to school the night before, setting out the outfit for the school day the next day can also alleviate some of the things. And then in the mornings, you establish a really nice morning routine. Know your child. Does it take your child extra time to wake up? If so, then set the alarm for a few minutes extra so that they have that time to be able to get up. Sometimes children like visuals, so I've always told families sometimes just take a simple index card and make a picture and a word of what the child needs to do in the mornings: brush their teeth, comb their hair, wash their face, eat a breakfast if they eat breakfast at home, and that way it gives the child a visual cue too.
That's really helpful. And then as they get a little bit older, do you see similar sorts of supports being helpful, or?
We do. So we still encourage the kind of evening routines and the morning routines that we do at the elementary level. But what comes into play more at the middle and high school level are the electronics. And that's what we find keep our children up more in the evenings. And so we kindly remind our families that something as simple as your cell phone or your iPad or the computer eliminate the blue light, and that will actually stimulate the brain to think that it's actually awake. So we encourage our parents to have their children shut down those electronics a good hour before bedtime, so that the brain can slowly shut off and then the kids can go to sleep on time. We also encourage parents to watch the caffeine intake in the evening so that they're not stimulated to stay up in the evenings. And also sometimes naps in the afternoon after school. The kids come home, they're tired, they take a nap, and then they're throwing their sleep cycle off. So those are some of the things that we talk to our middle school and high school families about.
Fantastic. So, if I have a student and I'm doing all of those things and still having some problems and still struggling with that, are there any things that the schools can do to support me in helping me establish these positive attendance with my child? Like anything that schools can do to kind of help me as a parent?
Absolutely. So what we like to tell our families to do, if they're noticing, that their children are complaining about certain things, my stomach hurts, I'm not feeling well, to send your child on to school if they don't have a temperature of 100 or more, they're not getting sick, and to notify the teacher or the school counselor or even sometimes administration, that their child was having a rough morning, because the teacher, the school counselor, the administrator will absolutely touch base with that child, keep an eye on them, see what's going on. We also remind parents to remind their child that there's a school nurse in every school now, and so to go to the school nurse during the day if they're not feeling really well, and the school nurse will absolutely take care of them. We also encourage our families, if they're having other issues, to reach out to the school counselors or the school social workers and talk to them about some other ways that we can assist, because we know that just some simple things in the mornings are not necessarily what's the barrier for our families to come to school, and we have plenty of community resources we would like to hook our families up with in order to get their children into school.
Fantastic. Really, because attendance does equal engagement. So thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us and chatting about this. And we'd like to hear from you again soon on this. Thanks for joining us at Engage Chesterfield today. We'll see you soon.